If you're planning on buying a house this year, don't take too many deductions off on your taxes. And buying a home is still one of the best and biggest investments you can make. So, to get you on the train to home ownership, I put together a list of 10 things you should avoid absolutely doing if, you have plans of buying that house. Number 1, if you are in the process of buying a home, do not,
let me say it again,
do not go and buy a new car, truck, van, whatever. Okay, so purchasing a car puts a big dent in on your credit, because that's another thing that goes into, the expense cap. People think that just because they didn't buy the car, I'm just leasing. Leasing counts also. So just stick with the vehicle that you're with now, stick it out. Don't go out and buy a new whip, a new ride. Don't do any of that until after you close on your house. Don't even do it like a couple days before closing because you think, oh, we already got, our pre-approval letter, we're set. Nah, don't buy it until you close, you have the keys in your hand. Then you can go out, celebrate, buy a new car, whatever you want to do. Next, you want to avoid having any late payments. Banks really look at this with a microscope. For the past 12 months, have you had any late payments? They're really going to look at that because that's going to tell them whether or not you're a good person for them to lend their money to, and how essentially you're going to make payments to them if they approve you of a mortgage. Make sense? So really go back, or starting now, make sure that everything is on time. Your car, your lights, whatever bills that you have, you want to make sure you're on time. Oh, all right. Another thing, do not omit any debts or liabilities that you have on your application, which means don't lie and say you don't have, $10,000 in credit card debt, or that you don't have this loan for like $5,000 that you took out. Don't lie, because they do a very thorough search. And the last thing you want is for your deal on the house that you love to fall apart because you lied and the lender eventually found out about it. It's not a good look. Spend money that you have set aside for closing. Okay, so when you're about to buy your house and the days are coming up to your closing date, you're probably going to have a good chunk of money in your bank account, and I know it can be tempting to splurge a little bit from that account and just buy a little something for the house. We're using that money for the house. Don't do it, because you'll be screwed come the day of closing if you don't have enough money. That's just how it is. So you want to make sure, if it's in your savings account, wherever it is, don't touch it, okay? Just leave it there, let it chill out, waiting for closing day so everything could be easy peasy. If you're planning on buying a house this year, don't take too many deductions off on your taxes. So why I say this is because it brings down how much money you made for this year. So those deductions are going to bring down your annual income, and that's your annual income goes into how you get approved, or rather how much you get approved for by the bank. So you don't want your income to drop because of those deductions. So if you were taking off a bunch of deductions, save that for next year, because this year you're trying to get a house. All right, another thing is, do not make large deposits into your bank account. Okay, why can't I make large deposits? You can, to clarify, you can make large deposits, but they have to be documented large deposits. It can't be, money that you scooped up from under your mattress or something of that sort, that you took from the safe. They have to know essentially where it's coming from. And I believe it can't be more than 1% of the home cost that counts as a large deposit. So just keep that in mind. The next, while we're on bank accounts, is don't change banks, okay? Don't, ooh, the APR over here is better. Let me now change to like an online bank. Just keep the bank you have until closing. So Don't go from Chase to Wells Fargo. Don't go from Wells Fargo to, Ally. You gotta stay where you're at if you're in the process of, buying a house. Next, do not co-sign for anyone for the next 12 months. Okay? Your credit is, you're gonna be under a microscope when it comes to the lender and qualifying for your house. So if you're going out co-signing for someone else's car, whatever they might be purchasing, it's going to show up on your credit also. And when we spoke about not having any new inquiries, that's a new inquiry. No, you're not purchasing it for yourself and you're just kind of like the side person, but it's still a co-sign and it's still a line of credit, so it's going to show up. So tell your friend, your boyfriend, your husband, your sister that you can't co-sign. Tell everybody, hey, I can't co-sign. I have to, think about me right now. So do not originate any new credit inquiries on your credit report. So no new credit cards, no new charge cards, no new anything. However, keep your job. If you're thinking about buying a house this year or anytime soon, you don't want to change jobs, become self-employed, because that poses a problem in a lender's eyes. It makes it look like you're unstable. Lenders, they want it simple. They want to see that you've been working at your job for this many years. Your salary is consistent. Your paychecks are consistent. If you are changing jobs, if it's in the same industry, then that could be okay. But make sure your pay is not lower than what you're making now. They do not like surprises. So a lot of lenders don't even know, even if you've been self-employed, for a while, a lot of lenders today still don't know how to go about lending to someone who's self-employed. The underwriting for that is still kind of a mystery to them. So not saying that it's impossible, just saying that for a lot of lenders, if you do get rejected because you're self-employed, it may not be you, just the mortgage company has no idea how to really go about writing a mortgage for someone that's, self-employed. So keep that in mind. Having any overdraft fees on your bank statements. So the underwriter's going in there, you're going through the loan processing, trying to get the approval. They're going to be looking at months of your bank statements. And if they see that you had an overdraft in December or an overdraft in January, whatever month you had it, that's going to be a question mark, and that could be, a problem in getting you approved. They're going to want an explanation of, what happened here. And given the reason that you had the overdraft, they can either approve or deny you. And please, please, please try and keep enough money in your bank account so that there's no overdrafts. Really go through your budget so there's no surprises. All right, you made it to the end. Okay, you must be really serious about buying your house this year. So kudos to you. Make sure you hit the like button if you learned at least one thing new in this video, and smash the subscribe button down there if you want more tips and tricks to help you buy that dream house this year. I'll see you next time. Will be denied, rejected, blocked.